This upcoming season is massive for the Cincinnati Bengals, especially in one position group. Welcome back to the Bengals Digest channel. I'm Carson Lokey. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day, and I don't know if you can see behind me. There's some boxes. I am actually moving again, so that'll be an update for another time. But just so you know, if I'm scattered all over the place these next week and a half, maybe not being on as much videos is because I am moving again. So that's another life update. But anyways, it's no secret that this upcoming season is just massive in general for the Cincinnati Bengals. But I think there's a position group it's even more so. And you guys know I love the cornerback room and the secondary room because that was my position growing up. That's my favorite position in the NFL or just football in general. And that's what I think is probably the most, maybe not the most important position for the Bengals next year, but I think one of the most intriguing, where that's kind of a make or break season for a lot of the guys in that secondary room, because a lot of them are getting to these years where they're eligible for an extension or not. So this is big to see if, all right, do they fit with Al Gordon's new defensive scheme? Are we going to extend them? Or are we going to have to go trade for somebody or go through free agency or go draft a lot of corners? This year is going to say a lot about a lot of our secondary players. And on Twitter, this was brought up by his at Bengals Central. Go follow him. He's a really good guy. But he brought up a lot of good points that I wanted to react to and break down. So this is his first tweet. It's a thread. This is a massive year for the Bengals' entire secondary. Everyone has something to prove. I agree completely. The Bengals find themselves in unique timing in their secondary. The Bengals roster several young DBs coming off down or injured years who need a big 2025 campaign to prove their worth. Without a doubt, this is spot on. Like I said, this year for the Bengals, just secondary in entirety is massive. Think about it. The oldest, and it's the guy we're going to talk about first, the oldest in our secondary is Taylor-Britt, and he's going into his fourth year. Taylor-Britt is coming off a down year in 2024, his worst season yet. The former second rounder needs to rise back up to that expectation of a starting corner 100%. Taylor-Britt is now eligible for extension with a good year. He could see a payday. With another down year, I don't think we'll let him go. I think the size of his contract is highly dependent on this season, how he does. I think for some reason, I'm always a positive guy. I try to be. But I just have a feeling he's going to step back into that role he was. I think he was, because for the better part of his career, and it's been 3 years, the first 2 years, he was kind of like that cornerback 2. Last season, he kind of stepped into that cornerback 1, and there wasn't a permanent elite cornerback on the other side. I think Taylor-Britt kind of got used to having somebody on the opposite side that was kind of helping him in a sense, not mask the issues that he was struggling with, but it was just more effective when he was the cornerback 2, and now he got a year stepping into that cornerback 1 system where the other side was going through a lot of changes with injuries and maybe people not stepping up as much as they used to, and he took on a lot of workload, and I think because of that he took a step back, but I personally think he's going to take a step forward. He has a year under his belt as the cornerback 1. He will be the cornerback 1 for the Bengals for a long time. If he improves on this next season, I think he will. I think he's going to take a step forward. He needs to take a step forward. He needs to step into that leadership role. I think he also fell into a little bit of the partying side of the NFL. So I think if he cleans that up and realizes the fact that he is the most veteran in the cornerback room and that he has to step up, I think he'll have a great season. And I think a lot of it relies on Taylor-Britt. And we'll talk about another player a little later on. But I think Taylor-Britt, towards the end of the season, started turning it on. And we can see the talent. That one-handed catch week 2 against the Chiefs, he has the talent and the potential to be a elite quarterback in the room. And I think once Josh Newton kind of got established as that other wideout corner, Taylor-Britt's game started to improve. When Josh Newton became that solidified corner in his rookie season, on the opposite side, we saw Taylor-Britt also improve. So that's something also to look out for Cam Taylor-Britt in 2025. Next, DJ Turner. Turner is another former second-round pick who has flashed but suffered a season-ending injury in 2024. If he can't bounce back from injury or be more consistent in 2025, no job is safe in a secondary bursting with youth athleticism and opportunity. That's what I find so fascinating and interesting and exciting about our secondary is our secondary is so young and there's so much talent to be had. There's so much potential in that room. Now we're just hoping Al Golden can unlock it and use it for obviously the betterment of the secondary. And I think DJ Turner is a good example of that. It was so sad seeing him go down because he was having such a great year last season. He kind of, before Josh Newton took over, because DJ Turner got hurt, it was DJ Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt. And once DJ Turner kind of stepped into that role on the opposite side of Cam Taylor-Britt, both of them started to improve. And DJ Turner was actually playing really, really, really well for us in that cornerback position, but obviously he went down with the season-ending injury, and then it threw a whole loop in the secondary because Dax Hill was already out, and then we had to put in Josh Newton, who was a rookie at the time, who stepped up significantly. But if DJ Turner, like Bengals center said, if he can bounce back from that injury, I think he'll be the starting cornerback on the opposite side. I think it'll be Cam Taylor-Britt and then DJ Turner on the opposite side, and if they can both step up to what they were doing in glimpses of the 2024 season, I think Al Golden's going to help allow with that. Then I think DJ Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt will be solidified as the starting Bengals corners for a while, and I think they'll be one of the better ones in the league because they have the potential and the talent to do so. Think about it. DJ Turner at Michigan, and same with Dax Hill, I'll talk about literally next, were a part of one of the best defenses in college football. When they were at Michigan, they were part of one of the best. During the season, they were the best defense, but one of the better defenses in the last decade in college football. Yes, Jesse Winker, who is now in LA with the Chargers, obviously with Jim Harbaugh, was a big factor of that, but obviously the players have to step up and be that talent on the field, and DJ Turner was a massive part of that. So if he can step up to what he was in Michigan for Cincinnati, it would be a game changer. The defense would get instantly better. The next Dax, so another Michigan guy like Turner, Dax also shown flashes and is also coming off a season-ending injury like Cam Taylor-Britt. Dax is extension eligible. The former first-rounder and the team is running out of time to find a role on defense. If he plays well under Golden, Dax could stick around. I think Dax will stick around because drafted him as a safety, I believe, and then moved him to a cornerback role because that kind of fit the Bengals scheme more with his talents, but then he also struggled in the cornerback position. But I think with Dax Hill, I think he's going to stay with the Bengals because I think we found the perfect spot for him. Obviously, oh my goodness, Mike Hilton, name blanked. Mike Hilton is no longer a Cincinnati Bengal. I think Dax Hill is going to slide in perfectly into that nickel position. I think Dax Hill and Mike Hilton had a close relationship, obviously, but also have very similar body styles, very similar talents. Attributes, skills, traits, everything, it kind of matches perfectly. And I think Dax Hill is going to fit into that nickel role where Dax Hill will be the inside, the slot cornerback who also is sent to blitz, just like Mike Hilton was, because they're both extremely, I think Mike Hilton is the best cornerback at this, timing the snap, but Dax Hill is also significantly great at timing the snap to blitz. I think that's what Dax Hill's role is going to be. He's going to be that slot cornerback who also blitzes and goes after the quarterback, especially in a league like the AFC North where it is going to be important and vital that you have somebody that can rush the quarterback. And I think Dax Hill will be that corner for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think it's going to be it's going to be Cam Taylor-Britt on one side, then it's going to be DJ Turner on the opposite side, and then Dax Hill in the middle. Not in the middle, but like in the inside, in slot cornerback. I think that's exactly where he fits. And just like DJ Turner last season, at the very beginning of the season, because Dax Hill got hurt early in the season. I don't remember exactly, but it might have been before week 1. But we have seen flashes from Dax Hill. Once again, he was a part of, just like DJ Turner, the best college football defense that season and one of the better defenses in the last decade of college football. Top 3 defenses in college football the last decade. He was a part of that. He was a big reason for that. If Dax Hill can mold into this position of that corner, the nickel corner, the slot corner, and if he fits well, like I think he is in the Al Golden scheme, I think Dax Hill also gets an extension. I think he's going to be the slot, the Mike Hilton position for the Bengals going forward for a long time because he has that potential. He has all the talent in the world. Now it just has to click. Sometimes, like, think of Tom Brady. This is an extreme case, but he obviously out of the draft wasn't the most talented quarterback in his draft class. But because of his potential and his talent and his mindset and the scheme he fell into with the New England Patriots, he turned into the best quarterback to ever do it. Now, I'm not saying if he went anywhere else or didn't get drafted by the Patriots, he wouldn't have turned into that, but it clicked really fast for him, and he turned into one of the best, or not one of the best quarterback in the entire NFL history. Sometimes that's all it takes for a player. Maybe after a few years, it just needs one thing to click. They just need one thing to click, and they turn into an elite player. I think that's what Dax Hill is waiting for, and I think it's going to be Al Golden's scheme in that nickel, in that slot cornerback position. It's going to click, and he's going to be one of the most talented players on our defense moving forward. Next, Geno Stone moving to the safety. After a disappointing 2024 season, many fans called for the release of Stone in the offseason. I considered it. If Stone can't bounce back in 2025, safety could be the number one need for the Bengals entering the offseason. I was honestly surprised we didn't go after a safety in the offseason because I thought, I still think this, I don't really think, unless Geno Stone has a incredible year, I think most likely Geno Stone is not a Bengal next season. That's my opinion. I think after this last season on his contract, the Bengals will just let him walk. I don't think they're going to re-sign him based off what happened last season, his age, all that good stuff. So that's why I was actually surprised the Bengals didn't go after a safety in this year's draft, especially with Xavier Watts, Notre Dame player, former player under Al Golden. I thought that was the perfect situation. I was like, oh, that's great. Go get Xavier Watts. Have him sit behind Geno Stone and Jordan Battle for a year, and then place Xavier Watts right into the safety, the starting safety next season. I thought that would have worked perfect. And we talked about how Geno Stone, his playing style is going to mesh a lot more with the Al Golden scheme. So maybe he does. Maybe he does have an elite season, and we extend him, and then we have more time to worry about the safety room. But I still think our safety room, even right now, needs a lot of help. I would have liked to add one or two, even if it wasn't Xavier Watts, like Malachi Moore later in the rounds. He was a great safety that was available for a long time in the draft. But I think definitely next draft or next offseason, we have to bring in some safeties. I don't think there's a chance the Bengals get Caleb Downs in next year's draft because he's probably going to go top 5 from Ohio State. But if we could get a player like that and keep him and not let him leave like we did with Jesse Bates, then the safety room would be fixed. We need something like that to happen for the Bengals. Obviously, our safety room would be fixed if we never let go of Jesse Bates, which was the stupidest thing the Bengals have done in the last decade. I don't know why they let him walk, but because of that decision to let him walk, the safety room has been struggling since then. This offseason, no matter what, in my opinion, we have to get another safety, and Geno Stone, a lot of that rides on his back on what he can do this next season. He has a big year to prove himself if he wants to continue playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think he's going to be better than last season because his playing style fits the Al Golden scheme more than it did with Lou and Arumo. Next, would be Jordan Battle. The other safety, Battle, unfortunately, and perhaps unfairly, didn't see the field as much as he should have in his second year, which I think was not a smart decision by Lou. Nevertheless, the time to produce is now. For a rebuilding defense, it is time for Battle to prove he is really a starter in this league. And I think same with Jordan Battle. We've seen flashes. I think he has to prove dramatically. I like the flashes that I've seen from Jordan Battle, and once again, I've seen that potential and that talent that he has, but I personally think he has to step up. With how hyped we have all hyped up Jordan Battle, I think he has to go above and beyond this next season and solidify himself as the Bengals starting safety, which he is going to be, but he has to solidify it. There's a reason Lou wasn't putting him out there. For whatever reason, Von Bell was getting more playing time than Jordan Battle. I don't know if that was Lou, his scheme of, all right, we got to get the veterans out there, or if he genuinely thought Von Bell was a better option than Jordan Battle. And if he genuinely thought Von Bell was a better option than Jordan Battle, that's a problem. Jordan Battle should have been the better decision. But if he wasn't, I wasn't there. I don't know. But Jordan Battle has to step up. I know he has the potential and the talent. Everybody in our secondary room has the potential and the talent to be elite. I think they have to just step up into that role. And I think with Al Golden now, who has a easier and not as confusing defensive scheme, all of these young players are going to fit in perfectly and mesh perfectly. And I think one of the most excited I am to see is Jordan Battle. And I think he's going to have a big season. I think our secondary room is going to have a big jump up this next season. That could be me being way too optimistic, but I think that's what's going to happen. I see us having a big jump next season for the secondary room. And then to finish it off, it seems 2025 is the pivotal year for this entire position group. Like I said, the offense is counting on the defense to play a whole lot better than they did in 2024. If not, jobs will most definitely be on the line, and each one of these young DBs has something to prove. I think that's one of the most exciting but also terrifying things about this 2025 season is because of the years and the youngness of these DBs, and they're getting into that extension year. A lot of them have make or break seasons where are you going to be extended by the Cincinnati Bengals or are we going to let you walk? I think a lot of guys, pretty much the whole group, has something to prove, but I'm extremely excited to watch it and see how they do. And I think every single one of them is going to improve. And I think, like I just said, I think the entire secondary room is going to have a big stepping up year, if that makes sense. And real quick, I already know this episode is so long. I know that you guys I'm excited about who are rookies or newer to the Bengals. Josh Newton stepped up massively for the Bengals this next season. I think he's not going to be the starter. I think DJ Turner will be that starter opposite of Cam Taylor-Britt. But Josh Newton should be on the field as much as any other cornerback. He stepped up so massively for the Bengals, it would be disrespectful to not have him on the field as much as any other corner because of how pivotal he was to the secondary last season. Like, he stepped up massively, and he played well as a rookie against some of the better wide receivers and teams in the league. I think Josh Newton should be a key factor for the secondary next season and going forward for years to come. And then also Marco Wilson, who we picked up on waiver claims from the Patriots last season, he stepped up big as well. There was obviously Dax Hill went down, DJ Turner went down. Obviously, Cam Taylor-Britt can't be out there every play, neither can Josh Newton. So Marco Wilson stepped up big for us as well, I think. And we extended him, which I was extremely happy about because he can be that role player for the secondary, maybe even putting him in at slot or the nickel to give Dax Hill a break here or there, I think would work massive for him. But Marco Wilson also stepped up big for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he should be a key component for the Bengals defense moving forward. And I think he is going to be because of the extension. You wouldn't extend him unless you thought he was going to have a role. But I think Josh Newton and Marco Wilson should and will continue to have big roles for the defense, especially the secondary going forward. I'm excited for both of them because they both stepped up huge when we needed it last season. But thank you so much for watching this Bengals Digest channel. It is a lot longer than a video than I usually do. I didn't expect it to be this long, but I love the secondary. I can talk about secondary and cornerbacks and safeties for hours. But thank you so much for watching this video. We hit 2,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough for all the love you've shown this channel. Me and Isaac appreciate it more than you guys will ever know. I can't put it into words how thankful I am to even just get this opportunity to talk about the team that I love every single day. And yes, a life update. I am moving again. I can't get into specifics, but I am moving back to Florida. So I've been in Texas for half of the summer, but I'm moving back to Florida, and I'll explain when I can on why I am moving back to Florida. But thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. Yes, we've hit 2,000, and I can't thank you guys enough, but let's do more and more because, like I said from the very beginning, it's just I've wanted to build that Houday Nation, the Jungle Nation, so we have a community to talk positively about the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications, comment down below who in the secondary you are most excited to see. I think next season I'm most excited about Cam Taylor-Britt just to see what he does after a down year and seeing how he steps up. Also, Josh Newton as well. I'm very excited about. Well, pretty much everybody in the secondary. I could say every name, but I'll give one answer. My answer will be Cam Taylor-Britt. Let me know in the comments down below who you're most excited to see. But for the Bengals Digest channel, I'm Carson Lokey. Have an amazing day, and God bless.